When it comes to ARK, rat holes are a key aspect of staying hidden, so the Outcasts proudly presents Top 10 All-Time Best Rat Holes on ARK. This video is sponsored by my servers Deluxe. Deluxe is a 3x server with 5x featuring and 3x experience. Deluxe has 6-man tribes, ORP, new player protection, raid warning, and so much more. Here at Deluxe, we ensure that you have an amazing experience with lag-free servers. Servers are now live, link in the description. Before this video gets started, I just wanted to say that this is our final rat hole video. It's time we move on from this and expand our videos more. Thanks for watching over the years, but sadly this has to come to an end. Now on to the video. Coming at number 10, this can be found at 65.5 latitude and 58.5 longitude, and this can be found on Aberration. Here it is on the map, and this can be found down in the radiation zone. So over here in the radiation zone, you will find this nice little ramp. Underneath this ramp is the rat hole. So if you come over here to the side of it, basically towards the top of the ramp, you will find a nice little opening. It's barely big enough to even get your player through, but it is a crouch entrance. So once you're in here, it opens up into this nice, good sized rat hole. It is a little bit of an awkward build, but you have plenty of room to fit a ton of stuff in here and even a decently sized space down at the bottom. As you can see, it's a decent amount flat, but still a little bit kind of curved, so it's going to be a bit tricky to build in here, but if you can do it, it makes for an amazing base spot. Coming at number 9, this can be found at 42.8 latitude and 44.9 longitude, and this can be found on Genesis Part 1. Here it is on the map, and this can be found in the ocean region. If you come over here on the side wall over here, the rat hole is actually located pretty much in plain sight. As you can see, there is a nice little sized hole right here, and it is big enough to fit a player and actually big enough to fit a few water dinos in here, so it's not like the smallest of holes. But anyways, once you're in here, it opens up into this first room. This first room is a bit awkward, but is great for building some turret walls or maybe a nice little underwater turret tower, really up to you. Now coming back here is the main room. The main room is really where it's at. Over here, we have this nice, good sized flat area that is just massive, and you also are built on the world border, meaning nobody can even touch you from that side at all. So it makes for a pretty good spot. There's plenty of room, so if you are a bigger tribe looking to really stay hidden, this is the spot for you. Coming at number 8, this can be found at 9.3 latitude and 65.3 longitude on Fjordor. Now that here it is on the map, and this can be found in the Vanaheim area, which is the green biome with the poison wyvern scar. And actually, speaking of the poison wyvern scar, this rat hole can be found in it. So basically head over to this nice little poison wyvern scar over here, and you will find this rat hole. Now, I highly recommend using a torch to find this because it is such a tricky rat hole to find without a torch because it's so dark up here. But anyways, once you're in here, it's basically up on the ceiling and you are greeted with this nice crouch entrance. Now, this rat hole isn't the biggest, so if you are a smaller tribe or maybe even just a solo, it makes for a pretty crazy spot. Plus, you also have the poison wyverns as base defense, so even crazier. Not to mention that flyers don't even work on this map at all, so it makes for a pretty good spot. Coming at number 7, this can be found at 40.2 latitude and 31.1 longitude, and this can be found on the center. Here it is on the map, and as you can see, it can be found on the floating island. The floating island, if you are not sure what this is just the big floating island in the center of the map. So yeah, it's pretty obvious to figure out what the floating island is. So anyways, if you come up here onto the ceiling, you will be greeted to this little spot. Now it doesn't look like much, but when you walk up on it, there's actually an invisible rat hole right here. So it is not considered meshing because you're not going into the mesh. You are just basically going in an area that's kind of works as like a little hallway in a way. But once you're in here, it's opened up into this nice little rat hole that's great for a solo or duo looking to really stay hidden. Now this rat hole is pretty insane as it has 1, 2, and even 3 rooms in here. Now the third room is a bit tricky to get into, but it is possible, but there's not much in there. So if you're a smaller tribe looking to really stay hidden, this makes for a pretty crazy rat hole. Coming at number 6, this can be found at 4.0 latitude and 27.1 longitude, and this can be found on Valguero. Here it is on the map, and this can be found over in the snow region. Now this rat hole is known as Clement's rat hole. Shout out to Clement, by the way, for commenting on one of our last videos. But anyways, over here you can find this rat hole. It is over here in the side of the wall, and it is a very long hallway styled walkway entrance. It's not the biggest rat hole, but it still offers a very nice spot, as you can build on the exterior and it would make for a pretty crazy base defense. So anyways, once you're in here, it is a crouch entrance, so you have to walk very slowly to get in here. Once you're in here, there's not a ton of room, so you have to kind of improvise, and maybe you do like a tech bubble or something, or a nice little tiny interior turret tower or turret wall, really up to you, but it makes for a pretty crazy spot. Coming at number 5, this can be found at 52.3 latitude and 67.7 longitude on Genesis Part 2. Now this can be found on the right side of the map, and as you can see, it is over next to the city kind of area. Now over here on this wall, you don't see much at first, but whenever you come down over here on this little platform, it's a nice little walking area. This walking area brings you over here into the corner, and it's pretty invisible, but there's actually a little tiny opening where you can just slide right in. Now this rat hole is pretty crazy, however it doesn't make for the best base defense because it's just a little bit tricky to get in and out of here, and of course people can also kind of mesh you on the side right there, but if you're fine with that, it makes for a pretty good spot. Coming at number 4, this can be found at 40.3 latitude and 73.6 longitude, and this can be found on Crystal Isles. Here it is on the map, and this can be found over in the nice floating islands region. If you come over to these cords, make sure to go all the way down to the water surface, basically fly over to it, otherwise you will get lost. Once you're at those exact coordinates, just fly straight up. Whenever you fly straight up, you are entered into this rat hole. Now this rat hole is pretty insane. I've built on this on many servers, and it just makes for an amazing spot if you know how to build it right. There's a ton of room in here and a nice little crouch area in the back where you can easily put a tech generator and keep that very hidden. A lot of people really will not mess with you here, as it makes for a really good spot and it's a very easy defense, so just make sure to know how to build it right and it'll make for a pretty insane base spot. Coming at number 3, this can be found at 74.2 latitude and 38.7 longitude, and this can be found on Lost Island. Here it is on the map, and it can be found on this island over here. This island basically looks like a volcano, but without the volcano, of course. Now over here, you'll find a nice little pillar. In between the pillar is a secret rat hole. Now this rat hole is super hidden and really cannot be seen until you're on top of it. As you can see with all the foliage in the way, it is very hidden. Now this is a crouch entrance and it is a very tiny hole. So this rat hole is just giant on the inside, and some may argue that it's a cave, but it is in fact a rat hole. Now over here, you have a ton of very nice ambient lighting, which also really does help if you are living in here because it just kind of adds some style to your area. Now it's super flat, there's lots of crystals, stone, and even a little bit of metal in here, so if you want to get some of that, that works out too. But it makes for a pretty good spot, and I've built in here a few times and it actually worked out pretty well. Coming at number 2, this can be found at 50.8 latitude and 47.2 longitude on Extinction. Here it is on the map. And this can be found almost dead middle of the map, and this rat hole is just insane. So coming over here, if you look at this giant looking pillar thing with a tree in it, and you find this little tiny entrance, you won't see much at first. Now, if you look up, there is an entrance to this insane rat hole. Now, you can fit a snow owl and a PT in here, but that's pretty much it, and there's even no cave damage in here as well. Now this area has 4 different areas to build, so you can build in either spot that you want. I recommend building up top because you can easily defend that part of it. However, there is also a down kind of area through here too. There's even another platform right there. And then also under here in the tree roots, there's a ton of room. Now it's not the flattest, but it's a pretty crazy rat hole if you know how to defend that entrance. As long as you can keep that entrance defended, I guarantee you nobody's going to mess with you here. Coming at number 1, this can be found at 50.8 latitude and 47.2 longitude on Extinction. Now, yes, we had to throw in another Extinction rat hole because there's just too many good rat holes. Now this rat hole, everybody knows. It is one of the most popular rat holes on ARK. But this rat hole can be found over here on the sidewall. So if you somehow don't know, just know that this rat hole is insane. So coming over here, you have a very tiny entrance that you can barely fit a player through, and that kind of wraps around and goes into here. Inside, you have an insane amount of room, And you even have a nice little flat area down there, so you can build 2 or 3 layers of a base in here and have plenty of room for every single thing plus breeding. So just makes for an amazing rat hole. But anyways, we hope you guys enjoyed our final rat hole video. Thanks for watching and peace out.